Greetings. My name is Ernie Cadad, and I'm the author of Marketplace Simulations. Today, there's a lot of interest and concern about delivering classes online. And what I want to do is illustrate for you how students can work together in an online environment and be engaged in a very meaningful exercise using a marketplace simulation. And they can achieve a great deal of learning, even though they're not sitting next to each other in the classroom or a breakout room, but they can do this online. For the longest time, I have thought that the best way to deliver a class is face-to-face in a classroom. And I've been reluctant to go to online learning in the fashion that we are doing it today. But in recent time, I've had to deliver a number of classes to students online, and I have a lot of experience now in delivering marketplace simulations online. What I conclude now is that classrooms are nice, but they're not necessary anymore, all right? You can deliver a really good experience in an online environment. Now, just to tell you a little bit about Marketplace, is that we have had more than 900,000 students and business professionals use a marketplace simulation as part of their business education. Now, what's really significant about this, I mean, they're all over the world. We're accustomed to working with people in all the different countries that represented here, all right? What's really significant is 100% of this 900,000 has been delivered online, right? This is the expertise of Marketplace, is online education. Now we take Marketplace, which is kind of like the hub of the experience, and we add to it a video meeting platform like Zoom, and students can work together and see each other while they are studying and evaluating their choices and analyzing the market, their competition, making decisions and submitting them for the next round to see how they do. And they can work together in a very dynamic way, right? And you as the professor can step in at various points in time and have meaningful discussion with your students. They can give you a briefing, they can give you presentations, you can ask probing questions, and it's all possible with a combination of Marketplace and a video meeting platform like Zoom. Now, what's really great about simulations, it's all about learning by doing. As this little baby here has experienced, it's not a good idea to be pointing the squirt gun at yourself when you're pulling the trigger. Now, this baby will learn not to do that twice. And that same kind of experience is what happens when you run a simulated business. It's like a flight simulator, but it's a business flight simulator. This is the place where you can make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And let's face it, we give our students a lot of knowledge, textbook knowledge, cases and so forth, but they don't have to actually practice. That's the part that's missing. And we have learned all our lives by doing and trying things. In fact, there's the theory of experiential learning, where we take what we believe is true and we apply it in this situation. And we see how it works. And sometimes it works badly and sometimes it works really well. When it doesn't go exactly the way we want, it forces us, causes us to study it and try to figure out what went wrong and how to do something better. And in the process, our learning advances. So we use our knowledge, we apply it, we reflect on the outcome, and our knowledge changes, and we go back into the world and give it another go. It's the theory of experiential learning. And that's the beauty of a simulation. It provides that. Now, to help you get this experience, I need to set the stage a little bit, tell you about the game scenario that we will be using in this demonstration. So you're about to start a new company that will enter a new niche of the bicycle business. It's going to be based on 3D printing bicycles with carbon fiber. And you have acquired this technology of very economical carbon fiber and the use of that fiber in a 3D printing device. And that will allow you to create new kind of bicycle that is ultra light and very affordable. So these bikes are a little bit pricey, but a lot less expensive than a carbon fiber bike today. They're going to be more expensive than a metal bike. A metal bike might cost you $300–500, and a carbon fiber bike used created with 3D printing might cost you $900 to $1,500. But that's a lot less than $10,000 and $15,000. So there is a business opportunity, and your job is to evaluate that opportunity. You have 3 market segments that you can go after. There is the recreation segment, the mountain segment, and the speed segment. Each one has different requirements. The recreation one, a simple, easy to use bicycle that's comfortable and safe. The mountain segment wants to go into the mountains and off-road. They don't mind the bumps and the rocks and the roots and the steep hills. They actually love that because it's a thrill. The speed segment is an entirely different group. They're looking for, as the name suggests, to go fast, and they want a lightweight aerodynamic bike. What you'll find is the recreation segment is the most price sensitive, and the speed segment is the least price sensitive. They will pay the most. Now, you have these 3 segments. The idea is to find out, will they buy 3D carbon fiber bikes? And so you will start up your business in 4 test markets located in different parts of the world so that you can judge what is the viability of this business idea, right? So that's going to be your objective. Now, as I said at the beginning, what we want to do is demonstrate to you how a team can work together from remote locations. And so I've invited people from as remote a series of locations as you might imagine. We have Mary Hannah Flesh, who is in the United States in Georgia, right? She's going to be the leader of the team. We have Paul Choi in South Korea, Bindu Agawa in India, and Reno Senor in Dominican Republic. And I'm going to ask them to go through the first decision round of their business and illustrate for you in the process how a team can work together remotely. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Mary Hannah. And if you will lead your team, we'll move forward.
Thank you, Ernie, and thank you, team, for taking the time to meet with me today. To recap, we have Bindu in charge of brand management, Paul over business analytics, and Rena responsible for sales management. So let's take a look at what we need to complete for today. Today, we need to come up with a company name. We need to analyze our market, determine which segment we want to target first, and then we already defined our responsibilities. So the last thing we need to do is figure out where we want to open our first store. So I am going to hand it over to Paul and let him talk about what he discovered in regards to segments, and let him provide a recommendation for our first target segment.
If you see the market potential over here, as all of you see, so you can see like if you add up recreational market and mountain and speed, all those markets sum together. Like for example, like recreational market is the largest one as all you see. Also, and this is the biggest market. However, it's a little bit, like as you see, that it's a little bit like kind of the lowest segment in terms of cost. But I would suggest recreational. Because is that I checked out the customer needs over here. Based on the customer needs, based in my market research, and compared to the level of technology we can apply to the current bicycle we can create is actually like a mountain and speed segment is not really approachable. So like recreation is a first segment, definitely. It's not just based on technology, but based on the size of size of the market potential. Also, when you see the price willing to pay, I just calculated the price you're willing to pay. Also, the net cost, the net cost of the bike per bike, and I mean, even though it's a 900, but we can have over 20% profit if we can create over like 300 bikes if we can sell it out. So this is a very nice market to start. After that, we can expand our market from recreation to mountain. So I would strongly suggest the recreation as our first target. That's a good starting point for us.
Okay, thank you for doing all this research for us, Paul. Bindu or Reno, do you agree with doing recreation first and then moving into mountain?
Yeah, I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, I also think recreation might be probably the easiest segment, the less demanding segment to since we are in a learning phase and we're trying to grasp how these customers behave. It'll probably be the easiest and the lowest risk segment to give this a try, and then moved into the more demanding segments of the market. So I would vouch for recreation as well.
Sure.
I think that's a really good point you made, Reno. So yeah, I would have to agree. We should do recreation first. Do we want to go ahead and make mountain our second priority, or do we want to hold off on that?
I would suggest mountain as our second priority since we need to expand our market. So I suggest it.
So, let's see. We are not able at this time to choose a second priority. So I
that's
say
not
we just
expected.
wait. Yes, we'll just wait until we get our research or our data back from this quarter, and then we'll make a decision next quarter, which, I mean, because you never know, it may change and we want to do speed instead of mountain as our second priority.
But with this error, I presume, Mariana, the virtual auditor of the simulation is suggesting us to stick to the first segment and to feedback and get to know the market before committing to a strategy at this early point in the game.
Got it.
Yes, and I think that's good that we hold off, and that's going to give us that message. All righty, let's see. Reno, do you want to go ahead and tell us where you think we should enter the market with our first store?
Do you see my screen now?
Oh, I can see that.
I'm glad it worked.
You can. Oh, works for me. Right. Okay, so let me get in now. Following the taskbar, as we've gone through, we've gone down to the task list, and now I'm going to go to sales channel and take again a closer look to the market potential guide that we were just looking at by evaluating the different segments. I'm now going to focus on the 4 cities that we are considering entering, and you can see what I've done is I've added so more or less the potential of each of the cities in all the 3 segments. Even if we're attempting to enter one first, eventually we might diverse into the other one. So the market potential might be, I would suggest to look at it as a whole unit and see what we can expect for entering any of those markets. And I've added the total potential bikes of the different segments. I've come to the numbers of around 16,000 for New York City and Amsterdam, and then in the range of 11,000 for Bangalore, and probably a bit lower than that, 12,000 or 11,000 for Rio de Janeiro. In the case of the stores or the cost of the selling points, if I there see that the cost, the highest expensive, the more expensive office it belongs in New York City, which is 72,000 per quarter. It's followed by Amsterdam for 54, and then the lowest one will be Bangalore at 13,000. And then Rio de Janeiro is closer at 17,000. So that means that most likely for a trial test, if we go back and looking at the volumes, if you look at Bangalore, close to 12,000 units, it'll be probably a sensitive tryout to test this market in Bangalore. So we don't have to spend a lot of money into the cost of the office and still get a pretty decent volume if we're able to enter recreation and then move to the other markets. So probably my first pick would be Bangalore. It seems lower cost and less risky for testing this market up.
I think that would be a good option, especially since we're really wanting to learn the market before we invest too much. So I think Bangalore would be a good market entry place where we still have the potential for a high volume amount of purchases. So I think this would be a good market entry store location.
Any feedback from the rest of the team?
My suggestion would be what if we consider the highest number of demand or expected demand in Amsterdam, because this is the segment which we are targeting. Can we think about it?
Yeah, I think Amsterdam would definitely be my second best choice, and probably if you look at it, the additional 1,000 bikes that we might get out of the recreation market, of course, we're not going to be able to sell the whole market. If we can get perhaps this additional share in the market of Amsterdam, might be able to pay off the cost of the office. So we will need to sort of work out a business case to see if the additional volume could compensate the additional cost. So, but answer as well.
Do we think a lot of people will go into Amsterdam first since it has a higher potential? So do we think it would be good to potentially do Bangalore, so maybe not as many people will go there first?
I didn't get that well. Come again, Mariana, please.
With Amsterdam, I'm concerned a lot of people may try and go, like, put a store there first since it has the higher market potential with 6,830 compared to the 5,892 bike demand. So I'm thinking maybe Bangalore may be the better option because there may not be as many people entering the market in that location.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could
I
get
agree.
saturated first. I agree.
I agree also. Okay. So go ahead with Bangalore.
Okay, are we happy with Bangalore then?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Great.
Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to go into the page and click modify and assume the 13,000 for the opening of the Bangalore office, and then click save. Okay, my changes have been saved, so we're good.
Good.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Thank you.
I'm turning my screen back to you, Mariana.
Okay, sounds good. Benju, do you want to share yours so we can do the company name, come up with the company name now that we know our target segment
Sure.
and where we're going to enter the market?
Yeah, I'm just sharing my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen now.
Yeah,
Yes.
looking good.
Okay, so on the basis of the discussion, a primary discussion among the team members, it seems that we are quite positive and we are quite hopeful that our startup is going to perform very good. So as we are into the new market of the carbon fiber bike, so I would like to propose 2 or 3 names. And I would like to have your opinion on each name. So first name I would like to propose is My Bike. So which is quite customized kind of impression we give to the customer. Okay, they can relate themselves with the company name, and it's a small name which they can remember easily. And second, I would like to propose a future tech bike, which is telling them about how they are going to associate or select a product which is very much tech oriented and future technology based product. And if you all agree, then I would like to propose the third name of the company can be the Carbo Bikes, which is reflecting the latest cutting edge technology of the carbon fiber bikes, which is a new invention or innovation in the market of the bike. So these are the three proposed names from my side. I would like to have the opinion of the team members.
That sounds very interesting. I really like all those three names, but I mean, I prefer Future Tech best because that's much easier to understand in terms of the global market, and it's very easy to. I mean, that sounds like a kind of like a kind of cool name, that Future Tech. It's easy to pronounce, so I really like it.
Okay.
I think I agree with that because with the My Bike name, we aren't sure yet if our initial target segment is going to be a segment that really wants to customize their bikes a lot. So if we did My Bike, that may limit us to one segment. So I think if we do Future Tech or Future Carbon Tech, whichever one it was, then that will give us the ability to kind of figure out which segment we truly belong in, and it'll still be a name that can fit all of the segments.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good idea.
Good,
Okay.
good.
I do like having the word future on the company name. Future means that this is where the market is going and this is what we can expect. So future, I understand, should be a must in the name. Whether we, I do like also perhaps we'll be missing the word carbon if this particular material is becoming trendy and having a stardom with the as a key player in the evolution of that market. So maybe Future Carbon Tech doesn't sound bad to me, but Future Tech Bikes I would endorse as well.
I totally.
That's great that we are agreeing on this Future Tech Bike. So as I go to the company name, then just click the modify and then write the company name here and just go to the save button. And our company name is Future Tech Bike.
Looks great.
Thank you, Bindu. Alrighty, do you want to stop sharing your screen and I'll share mine and we can wrap up Q1?
Sure.
All right, so here is our summary of decisions from Q1. Here we have all of our responsibilities, which we had already decided on. Our initial, or our primary segment that we're targeting is recreation, and then we're going to open our first store in Bangalore. We are in the clear. We do not have any errors. So I'm going to submit our decisions if y'all are good with it.
Here we go.
Alrighty.
Yeah, go for it. Great.
Sounds good. I'm excited to see our results so we can
Oh,
the
yes.
Q2 time. Alrighty, I'm going to send it back over to you, Ernie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Hannah. And thank you, Bindu, Reno, and Paul. You've done a great job of illustrating marketplace, but more important, illustrating how a team located in rather distant locations, how you can work together. The thing which I want you to come away with is that you can do this, all right? It is not difficult for a team to work together from anywhere. It could be in the city where you live, or it could be in any place in your country or any place in the world, right? You use Marketplace as the hub. This is the area in which the students are working together to launch a business and to figure out what's going to take to succeed, to get experience by going into the market and getting the results, studying the competition, the customers, their operations, and going back into the market. All right. So Marketplace is the hub which draws the team together. And if you can use video conferencing, video chat, or even a telephone call to interact with each other, then you can effectively work like many businesses do here today. All right. It's not all that unusual. In fact, it's become quite usual for us to meet with our counterparts in different parts of the world to work on business issues, problems, opportunities. So what you just saw is an illustration of how work is done in business and how work can be done in an online class. And I think one of the things which you will conclude is that students can do this, you can do this, you probably already have a lot of experience, even outside of education. And you will find that this quickly feels very natural. In the beginning, you're a little bit hesitant, but before long, you actually forget that you're not sitting next to each other because you have the video of each member of your team and you're face-to-face, and you can share screens and go back and forth. And really does not take very long at all before this is the way in which business can be done. So let me conclude with a couple of important points for you about Marketplace. We have lots of simulations that last for 20 minutes, a few hours. It can last for weeks or an entire semester. We have simulations at the undergraduate level, MBA, and for executives. We have simulations in all the disciplines, plus the core and capstone area. Students can play by themselves, or they can play with a team, which I have to recommend because it's really the most fun and it's very motivating to work with others. All right. And what the real beauty of all this is that your role changes from being an instructor or a teacher to being a coach. And as a coach, your job is to help the students understand what what they're not understanding at this minute, to see things they haven't been able to see. All right. And you do that at a moment which is really important to them. It's when they are trying to run the business and they're being challenged that they're very receptive to coaching by you, where you can help them expand their knowledge in a meaningful way. So I encourage you to try a Marketplace simulation and do it online. You can do this, all right? The students will be successful and you will be successful, and this will be a good experience for all of you. So thank you today for viewing this introduction to online learning with a Marketplace simulation.